everybody, welcome back to With the Souls of Trees. I've kind of been putting off playing this again because I did not want to strain my voice again. So we're just going to play in 30-minute segments from here on so that I don't hurt myself like a smart person. Okay. We've got some stuff going on, huh? Okay. I can tell he's diverting the conversation, but I go along with it anyway, since it's a hopeful diversion. I think I maybe read that last time? Whatever, it's fine. A lead? To what? Dove goes over a few feet away, picking up something he must have dropped before while running over to me. He comes back and shows me a small hammer. Small hammer? That's cute. Magpie said there might be a specific tools around where the cure could be. If they have a type of carving on them, that is. He held it out to me and I took it. It was made entirely of granite with spiraling patterns all along the handle. On the face of the hammer was a heart, detailed like one would see in a medical textbook. Huh, why? It was kind of weird to see it so anatomically correct on something presumably so old. Was it used for something special? Why a hammer? I turned it over in my hand. It has a pleasant weight to it, heavy enough to break but light enough to be used easily. Dove shrugs and takes it back from me, looking it over himself as if he could find a new detail that I hadn't. I have no idea, but wherever it came from should be close. Where would that be? I told you I have no idea. Dove, you're so sweet. Sure would be great to know where on earth we're going. It's not my fault these things are withheld from us. I don't know why I had a hard time saying that. Well, you don't know anything about yourself, do you? Huh. Wow, you don't know anything about yourself? Huh. I can read, I promise. My tone is teasing, but it sets Dove off. He turns and glares at me, a venomous look in his eyes that makes me flinch. Again, that's not my fault. All the important dragons are dead. Magpie knows enough to keep us alive, but not nearly enough to keep us going. And Ramses is the only one that knows anything important, apparently, and even he doesn't know the whole picture. I sulk under his angry words, but hold my ground. He doesn't have to get snippy with me over it. I haven't done anything to him. Raising my hands defensively, I let out a long sigh. All right, I'm sorry. Dove looks at me and slightly tilts his head as if shocked by what I said. I can see the gears in his head struggling to work, but he backs off. We need to get going. This place gives me the creeps. He's such a brat. I nod, agreeing completely. I'd rather we were as far away from the bones as possible, and I don't want Ramses to show up out of the blue again either. I kind of like it when Ramses shows up. At least things get real interesting. This time, Dove walks ahead, continuing down the animal path that we had taken here in the first place. He holds up the hammer to his nose, gives it a little sniff, and shakes his head. Usually we can tell where something of the woods originated from, but I can't quite pick up where this did. He sniffs it again and flinches. Also, it smells too much like dragons. If you don't know its purpose, how did you know it was there? Glancing at me, Dove beckons for me to take the hammer. Grasping it in my hand, I glance at his expression of monumental disgust. That woman used it not for its intended purpose. There's few things that can actually kill us, and that's why we live for so long. I tilt the hammer to stare at the face again and trail a finger over the heart pattern. It's free of bloodstains and any kind of trauma, but I can guess what it might have been used for. Oh. That hammer was used to bludgeon us. She figured it out all by herself. Staring at him, I decided to ask the question I had been wondering this whole time, about Dove's relationship with her. Dove, did you know this woman? His tail lashes, and he looks behind me again, gait turning into an angry march. Dove clenches his hands into tight fists. I told you I did. She killed dragons. Who wouldn't know of her? No, I mean, like, personally. Were you friends? He went quiet, shoulders relaxing for a split second, then he put more distance between us. No. I could tell that was him ending the conversation, but it piqued my interest further. It was obvious he was involved with her somehow, and I didn't want to get too annoying. If he wanted to tell me, it'd come out on its own terms, but I would simply have to wait. The path seems to go on, not even breaking for another clearing. After a while, it's beginning to seem like everything looks exactly the same. Ahead of me, Dove suddenly stops, waiting for me to catch up to him. Look there. He points a ways ahead, and I see the trees eventually getting tighter and bowing over the path. It's darker, but a faint light emits further down. The only thing we can honestly do is continue on our way. A tunnel forms from the trees. Ooh, spooky. We slow our pace to get a good look around us. I stare in wonder, noticing the lightning bugs speckling the branches and ground, blinking in the increasing darkness. They number in the hundreds, lighting our path like we're supposed to be going this way. That's cute. Weird. This image is weird. Let me see, is my mouse? Yeah. So this tree, and this tree don't look like they belong. You know what I'm saying? Like, the focus is weird. I don't know. I don't know. Did I read this? And it turns out we are, as the tunnel opens up, showing the trunk of an enormous tree. Cool. I can barely see around it, and in front of it lies an altar of sorts. There's a mural standing there, tall and covered with moss. It's rounded at the top and looks like it would fit in the arch of a doorway. A dragon is depicted on the mural, large with bat-like wings, feathers cascading down its body. Its visible borders show carvings of fruit, colors still faint even despite the time it has probably stood here. Whew. Water break. I gotta make sure to take water breaks. Not to strain my voice. I have much recording to do. Okay. There were people underneath the dragon, holding up a sapling with their combined efforts. A small waterfall splashed at the bottom of the altar, falling into a hole that disappeared into the earth. That's spooky. That's even spookier than a tree tunnel, not gonna lie. Above the fountain, on a little shelf, sits a small shape. I thought it would be stone, but instead a chunk of green gemstone, made into a perfect teardrop shape, glistens in the strange natural light emanating from almost everywhere. We both walk into the clearing, and I spin around to get a good look at everything. It's a cave made out of trees, with pine cones woven into their yellow bows, glowing a pale blue. Glowing pine cones, huh? The lightning bugs are still gathered in little pockets, providing what I can only compare as lamplight. There's a hush in the clearing, like the animals that had been here before are paying respects to a god walked into their midst. Wow, I never knew something like this was here. It's so much brighter. I winced against the light, my eyes having gotten too used to the darkness of the forest path. I guess this place only appears for the necessary reasons. Dove walks further into the clearing, and I follow close behind. Not that I could get lost, but because the energy here is completely different. Not bad, but not entirely good either. I've gotten goosebumps since observing the stone mural. The waterfall is the only sound in the clearing, and I rummage around for my almost empty water bottle. Fresh water is everywhere here, but I still take out my filter to make sure it's okay. It's pure, so I finish the rest of the bottle and fill it again. Dove watches me curiously, glancing at my backpack. You seem well prepared. Do you foray into the forest often? Seeming hopeful at the prospect of an actual conversation, I stand back up, giving my arms a little stretch. I feel like I've been wearing my backpack for days, but it's probably only been some hours since I ended up here. Sure do. There's so many resources here. Why wouldn't I go around? I like to bake at home, and there's so many herbs and fruit and vegetables that are fresher than stuff at home. Isn't that stealing? The forest belongs to no one, right? Stuff lives here. We all do. I only take what is necessary for me and my family. I don't sell any of it nor trade it. The forest bounty is plentiful, but it's important to take only what you need. Dove watches me again, quiet. I don't sense anything malicious from him as he observes me, and I hope he can tell that I'm being truthful. After a moment, he smiles. Aww. That's true. We must all survive. Oh, he really did smile. At me, no less. It makes me hope for some kind of semblance of camaraderie. Then he turns away, looking at the mural curiously. Wish I could read this. You can't? Dove places a hand on the stone, tapping it with a finger. No, Magpie might be able to, but we lost our written language forever ago. You even had a language? Well, it was the humans' language, but we knew it because we existed alongside them, I guess. I lean a bit closer, fascinated. I knew he would tell me something eventually, and while it's not what I exactly wanted, this is just as good. So, how long have you been around? Do you spring out of the dirt or something? No, we aren't plants. Dove laughs and I feel a bit giddy. Then how? Do you know? No, I honestly have no idea. Again, Magpie would know, but even then, they don't know everything. You like your friends a lot, it seems. They're both all I have. We've been through a lot together and stuck by each other. Fisher can be kind of loud and Magpie can be a wimp, but I care about them. I don't regret going with Dove, but also I want to see what it would be like if I'd wandered off with Magpie. You know, because they're so much quieter. But they're also more, like, knowledgeable, apparently, according to Dove. So, like, I wonder if there's more lore waiting in a different route. Excite. He's so genuinely truthful about it that it warms my heart. It's amazing that he can go from this to venomous when humans come into play. Our talk is broken by a loud sound coming from my stomach, and I cough. I haven't eaten since I don't know when. Do you have anything in that infinite bag of yours, Mary Poppins? Yeah, of course I do. I always pack a few sandwiches or something. Do you guys eat? My tea is still too hot. I have tea this time. But it is not drinkable. Of course we do. But I don't want your human food, so I'm gonna go find something. Even though I'm curious as to what he does eat, I let him be. Also, I just want to not be walking. Alright, I'll be here. Don't get lost, okay? I tease him a little, and he just lets out a huff. He walks back down the tunnel, and I watch him go, a different expression ghosting across his face as he does so. Taking out one of my packed lunches, I find a soft patch of moss to lay down in. Why are you lying down to eat a sandwich? You could sit. It's weird, don't lie. It's weird. You're gonna choke and die. It's gonna come back and find sandwich in your throat and be like, what the fuck? It's so quiet here, and it lulls me into relaxation. I can see birds and other animals float about the treetops, going about their business. Sound returns to the clearing after Dove is gone, and it comforts me. The forest always seems more hushed in the presence of dragons, like the forest doesn't want them mingling with the rest. After I finish eating, I lay down on my back. Oh, okay. My gaze falls into the gems sitting on the murals. Why does that sound wrong? Altar, and I note that we haven't considered it. That might be the cure yet. I'm sure we both expected some vial of sparkling liquid like, here I am, drink me. My eyes begin to close as sleep gets the better of me. My body is absolutely exhausted from such a crazy day, so I'm not surprised when I finally doze off. Next time I open my eyes, I'm no longer on that mossy patch in the clearing. Instead, it's dark, rain beating down on my face as a chill sets into my body. Uh-oh. I run to get some cover, my teeth chattering, as no tree provides proper shelter from the storm. Suddenly, I see a light off to the side and turn to see a little stone house. I recognize the shape of the doorway from the house me and Dove happened upon earlier. Deciding against my better judgment, I go up to the door and knock. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Instead, my hand falls through and sends me tumbling through the door like I'm a ghost. I stop short inside the little house, warmth enveloping me from the lit fireplace. Despite that, the air feels somewhat damp, and I can see a leak in the far corner. There's barely decoration save for an ornate table and cupboards, but it has a well-lived-in feel to it. Two figures huddle by the fireplace, fussing over a couple of pans that they hold over the fire. Their backs are turned to me, so I can't see faces, but their conversation is loud enough. I told you we should have put more rosemary on the top. Char it a little bit or something. Oh, be quiet. There would be too much in it then. Their argument is civil and teasing, and I can pick out a woman and a young man. They lean close together comfortably, obviously having a close relationship. Then the young man turns to me, and my breath hitches. No way, it's Dove. What? Who would have guessed? Aww. Familiar. Too familiar that it haunts me. It's not Dove. Is it? Dove's greening. He's covered in green. He looks like Dove, and I reach out hoping to grasp something. He ignores me, cementing the fact that I must be an odd specter in this weird dream. I guess. I don't know. I'm skeptical. I watch them from off to the side, getting a bit closer to the fireplace to stave off the cold seeping into me. The one who looks like Dove rummages in a few jars, taking out a spoon and grabbing some herbs. He goes over to a different pan, tossing it in, and stirring the contents around with it. I smell a mixture of meats and vegetables, with a rosemary bread rising off to the side. The atmosphere is so cozy that I don't see the darkness creeping over the windows. There's the sound of glass shattering as all the windows blow in. I yelp, covering my head and closing my eyes. The sound of a woman screaming rings in my ears. Oh, shit. Shit's going down. It all settles, and the room is suddenly empty. I look around for the two people who had been here, but all I see are empty pots and pans, silverware strewn across the room, straw baskets that had been hanging from the wall ripped apart. The door is open, and I see darkness. A night sky, but the stars are non-existent. A half moon hangs over the trees, its other half that deep abyssal black. Going forth out the door, I look around for any sign of them. I hear another scream, this time a combination of the woman and another. I run, heading towards the back of the house. I have a feeling what I might see, and yet I'm not prepared for it. I stop at the edge of the bone clearing, covering my mouth to stop myself from screaming. The woman from before is sitting there, head bowed as she sobs over the body of the other Dove. He's writhing in pain, clutching at his chest as red gushes out of it. Oh, Jesus, what the fuck happened? A hooded figure stands over them, that teardrop-shaped gemstone held in one of their hands. All around them there are bones, scraped clean and stained with bright red blood. The woman is crying, pleading at the hooded person to not take her friend away. It goes dark again, going along like scenes out of a play. I'm thrust into the clearing again, but the woman is alone now. She's crying harshly, her body heaving with the weight of her tears. We're sorry. We're so sorry. Please, why did you take him away? She whispers as her hands gouge holes in the dirt. I watch, confused as to where Dove has supposedly gone. I wonder what all this is in the first place. She seems older than before, like time has passed. Wrinkled cheeks, sunken eyes, and grayed hair. There's more bones than before. Shh. Got it out. A branch cracks behind me, and I spin around. Two figures are there, shrouded in darkness. I can make out the unmistakable curve of Dove's horns, but the other is foreign to me. I will tempt the tea. Still a little warm, but not bad. My throat feels better. Okay, foreign. Who is it? Who's this sorry human? The stranger beside Dove tilts his head towards the other, and a chuckle passes through his lips. You don't know her? It's the first time I've seen her. Of course, you might have known her in a past life. Dove folds his arms contemplatively. Like before my reincarnation into what I am now? Again, the stranger chuckles. Yes, maybe you were a loyal pet who knew nobody in the world other than her. Or maybe one of the simple folks at the market who thought her beautiful. But you won't remember those things. What is she like? The other dragon stands much straighter, and I see a feathered tail give a lash. He cracks the knuckles on one of his hands. A dragon killer. She ate of them. For sustenance at first, but it becomes an acquired taste. Dove makes a vomiting sound, slouching his shoulders. I didn't even know it was possible for humans to kill us. It is, with certain means. They suddenly fade away as my body jolts. Sure enough, my eyes snap open, and I'm sitting up in the clearing I was in all along. I don't know how much time has passed, but the light in the forest is the same. I roll my shoulders and brush moss from my clothes. Looking around, I don't see my dragon companion and stand up. Dove? Hey, Dove, are you back? There's no answer. I'm starting to get a little worried, especially since Ramses could attack us at any moment. Well, you probably shouldn't have split up. But okay. Mustering up the courage, I make my way towards the tunnel of trees. I'm afraid I won't be able to find this place again, though, so I hang back in the entrance. Dove? Are you okay? Where'd you go? I hear a cough and something snapping a ways off. Nervously, I approach the source, almost stepping on a bloodied bundle of fur. There's a trail of it, so I follow, coming upon Dove sitting up in a tree, his back to me and legs dangling over the side of the branch he sits on. Dove? Everything okay? His shoulders jolt a bit, and he turns and looks down at me. I flinch under his barbed gaze, feeling a dangerous feeling cut into me. Yeah, that is a little scary. There's a predatory air about him, and he languidly turns to face me. There's a rabbit in his hands, bloodied and ripped up. That must be where this fur is from. Speckles of blood ring his mouth, and a fang pokes out from his upper lip, glinting bright against the crimson. I'm unfazed by the rabbit. I've skinned my fair share, but I just don't like how Dove looks. Hey, you okay? You've been gone for a bit. I was finding food. I see. Didn't know what you guys ate. It's selective. His answers are curt, like he doesn't want to be having this conversation. There's been many of our talks, but he's been pretty amicable otherwise. He wipes at his mouth with a hand and tilts his head towards me by a fraction. Is it gross? What? No. We don't eat rabbits raw, but we eat them. This is nothing new. You're no fun. Are you seriously trying to scare me off? You're doing a bad job at it. I honestly figured you guys would eat meat or something. Oh wait, you don't know anything about us. I totally forgot. He suddenly goes in for another bite, and I honestly do feel grossed out by his messy eating. We aren't supposed to eat meat. Isn't good for us. So, why are you? Yeah, that's my question too. Plucking some fur at the corner of his mouth, Dove flicks it towards me with a lazy motion. I can't seem to eat anything else. It all gives me indigestion. I suddenly think back to the weird dream I had, and the person who looks strikingly like Dove. The clearing of bones blares in my head. Giving myself a little shake, I fold my arms, trying to seem as serious as possible. Well, if you're done, I think we should get back to figuring out what we have to do to get everything under control. Stop trying to scare me off. Get down here. Rolling his eyes, Dove tosses the rabbit aside. He wipes at his mouth and jumps to the ground, his fall barely making a noise against the fallen leaves. Sure. I stomp away, relieved to see that the path to the other clearing is still there. If it had vanished for some reason, we'd be screwed. Dove follows behind me, coughing a few times and complaining about rabbit fur under his breath. We should have taken the fur off, stupid. I start getting to work, looking around the clearing for any clues or bright neon signs telling us what to do. The ladder wouldn't be here, obviously, but I wish there was something. It looks like there's been stone benches here long ago, all around in a circle. Most of them are either broken or so buried in moss and vines that it's hard to see them. The area is of dark stone, equally covered in flora. Faint patterns carved into it don't seem familiar in any way, shape, or form. The only thing that seems important is the stone on the altar. Grabbing the hammer as I walk back to it, I look it over. Dove is aimlessly walking around, far less useful in the search for hints. The stone is a beautiful green, similar to Dove's eyes. It's smooth as glass with a faint vein of a different color in its center. I peer closer, thinking it has a bit of ruby there. It's so red. Hesitantly, to see if it would hold together, I very delicately tap the stone with the hammer, and it lets out a faint ring. Dove suddenly yelps. What's the matter? I don't know. Everything just hurt for a second. Did you do anything? What? No. How could I? You're all the way over there. Then I look back to the gemstone. When I tapped it, Dove felt pain. Just to test it out, I tapped the stone again. Ow, 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 ow. What are you doing? I didn't do anything. The dragon marches over, glaring daggers at me. Okay, then whatever you're doing, stop it. I was just tapping this. To reaffirm my action, I tap the gem. Instantly, Dove's body seizes up and he reaches out to grab it. He holds it close to him protectively. Well, that hurts. Okay, then why does it hurt, do you know? No. I clench the hammer in my hand. That stone is important, but Dove's new protectiveness over it is worrying. I think that's the cure. We must have to do something to it. Grasping it closer to him, Dove is quiet. I can see sweat drops down his cheeks, and a wave of danger radiates from him. Dove, have you ever seen that thing before? Never in my life. Then why are you acting like that if you've never laid eyes on it? How do you know it's important? Dove blinks at me, and I can see the panic build up in him. His confusion is evident, and he glances from the gem to me. I don't know. My body is yelling at me to protect this thing. Keeping my distance as I try and get a good look at it, I reach out and place my palm against it. That doesn't seem to do anything, but a warmth begins to tingle up through my fingers. Then I feel it thump, like a heartbeat. I stagger back, unnerved. Dove must have felt it too, because he holds it away from him. Is this thing alive? It's a rock. Oh, you found it. That familiar teasing voice cuts through our apprehension, turning into all-out panic. The air crackles with energy, squeezing my chest and making my body feel heavy. I can tell Dove feels the same as he slouches his shoulders and winces. It seems the whole area gets dark, lights dimming as if each experience their own personal eclipse. There's a feeling of dread hanging on to the air, and I look around. The tunnel into the clearing seems like it's constricting, the forest behind it getting darker and darker. A figure stands there, worse than when I had seen him before. Ramses looks harrowed, the irritation and exasperation coming off him in waves. Okay, friendo? Looks like looks like... What did I get looks like from? Why can't my eyes work today? Took you fools long enough. Oh, I was getting so tired of waiting. There's more of the black on him now. His clothes are ripped a bit, and he seems larger, more threatening. Like his animalistic side is taking control. I can never find these places by myself. Too bad we need humans to help us. Thank you, Keaton. What do you have me to... Wait. What do you have me to thank for? Me and Dove found this place together. Nope. Don't you recall what was said? Human and dragon hearts warmed in tandem. You need both to find the prize. So yes, thank you. My body runs cold. Ramses was biding his time on purpose, waiting for us to find this place. Dove realizes it as well, body tensing. And what's exactly the prize, this chunk of rock? Ramses laughs loudly. Okay. As if he knows all the bits of information that we are desperate to know. His tail twitches violently. Chunk of rock, he says. Oh, that is more important than you could possibly ever know. Do tell, then. Dove stands his ground, but I can see the nervousness set to his jaw, the way his body tenses at Ramses' movements. I stay a bit behind him, knowing he's unfortunately my first line of defense if the other dragon does end up attacking us. Have you ever wondered what it was like? What it was all like before? Before all this? Dove wrinkles his brow, body going lax. We all died and got reincarnated thanks to the forest. Wynn said. Ramsay starts cackling again, cutting off Dove. Wynn was feeding you the same thing fed to us since the start. It's all been so very elaborate. He starts walking closer, arms folded as he eyes up the gemstone in Dove's hand. I unconsciously block his view of it and see his eyes narrow. I'm putting my faith in him instead of you. Of course, of course. He was your beloved king after all. Blind obedience comes with the job, I guess. Dove snarls, the noise reverberating deep in his chest. Ramses, why is this thing so important? What do you even want? The dragon gives off a manic grin and plays with the feathers covering his shoulders. He points at the gemstone. That thing is us. What do you mean, us? It's a part of us, hiding something important deep down. Hiding who we are. Huh. I stare at the stone. Its colors mimic Dove's aside from the red, and I put a hand to my chin in thought. Like a part of their soul? In a manner of speaking. He's so close now I can hear the black dripping down his face sizzle with heat. The scales of his tail crinkle and scrape together noisily, and I see a few pieces on the ground. Oh, that's... that really sucks. I'm prepared to run, my fight or flight instincts in overdrive as Ramses circles us. Ooh, cliffhanger? Okay, sure. I'm gonna end it here. Thank you everybody for coming out and playing with me. I had a ton of fun, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!